Children are reuniting with families inside the school, police chief says. The atmosphere outside the school was a mixture of relief, anxiety, and exhaustion. Hours after what could have been a devastating incident, the sight of children reuniting with their parents inside the school gymnasium brought long-awaited comfort to a shaken community. According to the local police chief, the reunification process has been carefully organized to ensure both safety and emotional stability, allowing children and their families to find peace after a day filled with fear. The events unfolded early in the morning, when reports of a potential security threat at the elementary school led to an immediate lockdown. Teachers quickly followed established protocols, securing classrooms and guiding children away from hallways and entrances. The sound of hurried footsteps, the sudden hush in classrooms, and the unknown that lingered in the air left both students and staff deeply unsettled. Parents, alerted by text messages, phone calls, and breaking news alerts, rushed to the school grounds, only to be met by a strong law enforcement presence. Streets surrounding the campus were sealed off, and police vehicles lined the neighborhood. Helicopters hovered overhead while officers, some carrying rifles, secured every exit and entrance. For many parents, those moments waiting behind barricades were among the longest of their lives. By mid-afternoon, the police chief addressed reporters, confirming that no active shooter was found and that the threat appeared to be a false alarm. At this time, there is no evidence of any individual attempting to harm the students or staff, the chief said. Our officers responded swiftly and decisively, following every necessary precaution to ensure this community remained safe. Despite the reassurance, the anxiety among families was far from gone. Rumors had spread quickly throughout the morning, some suggesting shots had been fired, others claiming that a suspicious person had entered the school grounds. Social media amplified these unverified reports, deepening confusion. The chief urged patience and calm, explaining that the investigation was still ongoing but that the priority now was the emotional well-being of the children. We know how traumatic this day has been, he said. That is why our focus is on safely reuniting families. Children are currently being brought into a central location inside the school where their parents or guardians can meet them in an orderly and secure way. The reunification site was set up inside the school's gymnasium. Police, school staff, and volunteers coordinated to ensure that children were accounted for, checked against official lists, and escorted to waiting parents. Families were required to show identification, a measure that slowed the process but provided necessary security. One by one, children walked into the arms of anxious parents. Some ran as fast as they could, tears streaming down their faces. Others clung silently to their mothers and fathers, refusing to let go. A few were too shaken to speak, their expressions blank from the stress of hours in lockdown. "I've never been so scared in my life," said Maria Lopez, a mother of two who waited nearly 3 hours to see her daughters again. "When I finally saw them, I couldn't stop crying. I know they were scared too, but just holding them makes me feel like we'll be okay." Teachers also joined the reunification effort, staying with their students until the very last one was claimed by a parent. Some offered encouraging words, reminding children that they had done everything right during the lockdown. The school principal praised staff for their composure under pressure, saying their quick actions were instrumental in keeping students calm and safe. As relief spread through the neighborhood, local organizations began stepping in to provide assistance. Counselors were made available on site for both children and adults who needed to process their emotions. Hotlines were also activated, connecting families to mental health services for follow-up care. Faith leaders from nearby churches opened their doors to provide quiet spaces for reflection and prayer. Restaurants donated meals for exhausted police officers and volunteers. Even strangers from neighboring towns arrived, offering bottled water, snacks, and words of encouragement. "This is what community looks like," said the mayor, who visited the reunification site. "When tragedy threatens, we come together. Today we were tested, and while we are grateful no harm came to our children, we must remember the lessons this day has taught us about vigilance, communication, and compassion." Despite the sense of relief, questions remain about how the incident unfolded. Who made the initial threat? Was it a hoax, or did law enforcement intervene before something more serious occurred? Police confirmed that an investigation is underway, with detectives reviewing surveillance footage, analyzing emergency calls, and interviewing witnesses. The police chief acknowledged the frustration many parents felt but reminded them of the importance of due diligence. "We understand people want answers immediately," he said. "But we cannot compromise the investigation. What matters most is that children are safe tonight, in the arms of their families." Experts in school safety note that false alarms, though frightening, can serve as critical reminders of the need for preparedness. "Every lockdown, every drill, every response tests the system," said Dr. Elaine Matthews, a specialist in school crisis management. "While it is terrifying for families, it can also save lives in the future." Today, procedures were followed exactly as they should be, and that is why reunification happened as smoothly as it did. In the aftermath, some parents demanded increased security measures, including more cameras, stricter visitor protocols, and greater law enforcement presence during school hours. Others expressed concern that children are living in an era of constant fear, where lockdowns and drills are as common as fire alarms. "It breaks my heart that my 8-year-old knows what to do when someone says there's a shooter," said James Carter, a father waiting outside the school. "He should be worrying about math homework, not whether he'll make it home at the end of the day." School district officials promised to hold a town hall meeting within the week to address these concerns. They also emphasized their commitment to transparency, vowing to share updates as soon as credible information was available. As the sun set over the school, the last few families trickled out of the gymnasium. Police cars slowly rolled away, and the once chaotic scene began to return to normal. Children clutched their parents' hands tightly, not wanting to be apart even for a moment. The day may not have ended in tragedy, but it will be remembered as a reminder of the fragility of peace and the importance of community resilience. For many families, the memory of waiting in fear will linger for years. But so will the memory of that first embrace inside the gym, the relief of knowing that, against all odds, their children were safe. "Today we saw the worst of our fears and the best of our community," the police chief reflected in his closing remarks. "Our children are home tonight. That is what matters most." Counselors will remain at the school for the rest of the week, offering group sessions and one-on-one support. Parents are being encouraged to talk openly with their children about the incident, acknowledging their fears but reinforcing the sense of safety that home and school provide. Meanwhile, the investigation continues, with police asking anyone who may have information about the source of the threat to come forward. Authorities remain cautious, treating every lead with seriousness. Though shaken, the community is determined to move forward. Plans are underway for a candlelight vigil in honor of the resilience shown by children, teachers, and parents alike. Messages of solidarity from across the country have poured in, reminding the town that it does not face these challenges alone. In the end, the sight of children reuniting with their families inside the school will stand as the defining image of the day, a moment of profound relief, love, and gratitude, reminding everyone that even in the face of fear, unity and hope can prevail.